we're going to animate and refine Edgar's arm movement using the principles that we talked about in the previous video. This is one that's finished. So what I have here is Edgar's animation after the stepped animation and then the legs refined. Okay, although I pointed out before that his foot has to be painted. Okay, right down here. This vertex is being pulled by a joint somewhere in this leg. So let's see if I can fix that real quick in here. I'm selecting that, replacing with a value of 0. Another way to do this would be to go to this foot and add some value to it. Okay, great. So I was able to fix it in this file, which is fantastic. All right, so let's focus on the arms. So this file, the arms actually look pretty good already because they were posed with the drawings on all the main keyframes. Okay, so please keep in mind that now I've turned off my character set and I've turned on my auto key. That's very important. Okay, turn off your character set and turn on your auto key to optimize your workflow and to use your main keyframes that you did with your character set to your advantage. All right, so I also have here a plane, and I just placed the drawings, my plan, right there for me so I can see it and work with it directly in front of me. So once I have all of that set up, I'm ready to take a look at my arms. Now, if Edgar was a robot with separate arms, I could even just hide his entire body and just focus on his arm. But in this case, he's a or an organic character with just one arm, where we can't just show one arm. So we just have to kind of focus our energy and just make sure that we're looking at one arm at a time. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to check out what's happening here and compare it with the drawing. So right here at his contact pose, his arm is back. Okay, now it's down, back even more, and then it comes forward through the passing pose. Passing pose, it's kind of next to him, right? And then it goes in front of him in the up, and then once again down and front in the contact, and then extreme down, it's the furthest in front again, and then goes back. Now when it goes back, when it comes forward, it actually swings a lot. But on the way back, your body's moving forward, so it doesn't move that much. So there's no arc there. All right, so now I have the right hand selected. I'm going to do that first. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this button right here, which is going to show the position of my keyframes. So great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create kind of a nice arc in here. And then it doesn't necessarily arc over here because of his height and also the fact that his body's moving forward. But this part I'm going to focus on creating a nice looking arc. So he first goes back. Okay. That's kind of straight forward. but we are swinging back. So what that means is his wrist is going to be kind of coming forward like this. Okay, because remember the drag. So he's still dragging here. Okay, and let's zoom in here so we can see the object mode. Okay, so he's kind of swinging back like that. Okay, because his arm is being pulled back. Okay, and maybe can move down slightly. Good. And this can move slightly down. Alright, so I'm kind of refining as I go, but because we didn't spend that much time posing the arms, you're going to be like posing it and then refining it at the same time. Okay, now, right in here when he starts moving forward, actually, his arm is going to start dragging this way. I'm going to do all the fingers later on together at once. Okay, so he's just going to start rotating his arm like that. Okay, and it's sort of going into his body. So let's take it out there. Also at his passing pose, which is where I am, his clavicle kind of comes down. So that's going to allow me to just make sure it doesn't look too low. Okay, but it's going to allow me to bring this guy down a little bit more. Okay. So yeah, there's the kind of the drag of the hand, and let's make it drag starting right here. Okay, so the arm is going to start moving back this way. Okay, so it starts to drag, and then at frame 5, it's dragging even more, and then at frame 6, it's dragging. So it goes up like that, and then starts to come down. Also, the placing of this is important. Got to bring it down and create kind of like that nice arc. Okay, 4 and 5, there's a lot of space. Maybe 5 can be a little bit back. Okay, this motion trail will help you see where each keyframe is, and as you can see, it just keyframed every single frame, right? Okay, so let's bring that down a little bit more. And you can see that I'm creating this like nice arc, but here's the ease in, and then it's swinging faster. Okay, so now he's still dragging. Let's go over here and make sure he's dragging his wrist. Okay, but it's kind of a subtle thing. Don't do it too much or it's going to start looking like a personality walk. Okay, so that's good. And at this position, he's in the up. Okay, he can have his hand down, and when I look at it, his hip on this side is up, so this clavicle will also be pretty up, right, because of contrapposto. Okay, and his hands coming forward, so his clavicle is going to come forward a little bit. Okay, and then let's make that nice arc there. And let's check out his wrist. Good. Okay, that subtle drag. Okay, it's going to rotate slightly to the side there. Good. Okay, and I'm going to keep going with this hand. Okay, until 12. Okay, so 12 here, the arc kind of goes away because he's stepping in, stepping down. Okay, so his arm is kind of plateauing here in placement. Okay, because he's got his arm bent. Okay, and what I want to do is kind of work on that drag again. Okay. Let's make sure his elbow is facing the right way. Yep. Okay, I also already did his pole vectors before, so that looks good. So here, okay, good. And then he actually swings it forward even more, right, for the down. This is the down. So for the down, let's bring it down a little bit. And up. Right. And clavicle comes forward. And up, so up a little. Okay. Now I'm going to do the fingertips and all the finger joints in a second. Okay, but I really do want you guys to animate the fingers as well. All right. Okay, so here is the highest point, and then he's going to start swinging it back. Okay, at this point, swinging it back is really not, he's really not doing that much, but he is moving it back, right? But his body's moving forward. So what he has to do actually is to start doing a drag with the hand, right? Because his hand, 1, 2, and okay, so 2, so there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is going to be like that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's no drag there, so that's his high point. The same leg. This one actually drags back this way. It's coming down like this. Okay. So the passing pose right here needs to bring it down a little bit and bring it back a slight bit. Okay. Notice I'm referring to the drawing. Okay, and then the clavicle comes down. Okay, so it's swinging back 15. Okay. 21. kind of think he needs to swing it back. Boom, boom, and down a little bit. Although he's rising, that's why there's a little bit of tangling here. Just going to hide this motion trail for a second, because I don't need it right now. And swings it back. Some of this adjustment will have to do with the fingertips. And here on 24, which is the contact pose again, he's actually going to be doing it like this. And like this. Okay. Slightly with the drag. Okay, so that's with clavicle kind of pushing back a little bit, rotating back. Okay, so let's take a look at this arm. See that drag happens, and it happens again at the end. Okay, maybe a little bit higher. All right, so let's take a look at this hand. 1, 2. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now let's focus on the fingers. To get to all the fingers, you can either have a selection set, or you could actually do this. So the wrist is actually the parent of all the finger joints. So select the wrist joint and go to Edit, select Hierarchy. Now you have everything selected except the wrist joint you don't want because you've already rotated it this way. I kind of want to keep that shortcut into in my shelf, so I can even go to my custom shelf here and go to Edit. I'm going to press down Shift and Control, select Hierarchy. Okay, now select Hierarchy is going to be a tool that I can access. Okay, so if I wanted to do that again real fast, I can do it. And then Control to deselect the wrist. Right, so now I'm going to go in and grab my Z. Okay, but for the drag going this way, the fingers are not really going to bend. But now when it starts to drag this way, now the fingers are going to bend. It's kind of a big jump, so but it does kind of snap like that. Okay. So let's make sure that they're bent in the direction of the drag. And you want to be kind of subtle, but also it really helps to curl it. Okay, and at this point, just going to be slight there. Okay. Right. Now it's going to start. Okay, at that point, Let's select the hierarchy again. I just want you guys to make sure you are using all your joints. Okay, the thumb looks a little strange on this character, but we'll just keep going. Now when the hand starts changing, curl kind of eases up. It never really gets completely straight, right? You want to kind of keep it a little bit curled the whole time. And it doesn't ever really curl in the opposite direction. All right, so I'm going to save this, and I'm actually going to do the other side. Okay. Now to do the other side, I'm just going to flip in this way. Okay, but as you can see, it's kind of not visible here because it's the negative normals of my polygon plane. So I'm just going to go to polygon, normals, and reverse that, and I'll be able to see the other side. Okay, great. So let's get started with this arm.